One problem with this game, and it really kind of shares it with Euros and a lot of other number of other types of games, is there's not a lot to show for semi kind of military type engagements. In terms of any kind of front lines or anything else, it's very hard for me to do anything except just show you the whole game. I can't kind of step back the way I like to. I may end up doing so at one point, but right now I feel like I kind of have to video everything, which is a further hindrance in the whole thing. This guy's trying to get rid of this card. He can't find anybody who will give him anything for it, so he's going to discard it. It goes over here. And this guy has something cool. You know, somebody has blasters in their hand. Now, he has 6 cards. He has to get rid of one. He's going to mutate. You know, somebody's got blasters in their hand, not on their bots or whatever, Borgs. He's going to put this as his additional weapon. So it's the same as a retrofitting, but, you know, that way I don't have to throw out a card, and I got an extra weapon on my Borg. I kind of wish the scavenging could go right on top of this. That would be kind of cool, but he can't figure out how to put things on his own. So now we randomize the pods. So we got a collection of them here, more showing up over here, piles over here. Being in the first seat is not necessarily very good. But it does allow you to grab the pods early, which is a potential advantage. He doesn't really have much or anything. Well, he could get some infantry here. Might be worth letting his fort fall to grab one pod. I don't know. That's the cost for replacing your fort. And so I probably don't want to commit much that way. What I'm thinking with Kizaru is he might want to go here. Going early means grabbing pods as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, I didn't give... Oh geez. These markers don't match the colors that I've been using. Right then. So the men in black are actually the white group. Well, the kind of grayish group is the black or darker gray. Great. Well, what I'm going to do to fix that is just shift these. This should be destroyed. I forgot to mark that. No, they failed to take it. Okay, great. They combined up and did not take it. All right. So I'll try to remember that. That's going to be really tough on me, but I look at the symbols and I say, you know, that's going to confuse the shit out of me too. No, I can't do that. I'd have to trade everybody's forces. All right, we'll just try to remember that the symbols don't quite match. Okay. So I think what Kizaru wants to do, let's look at his cards. Who knows? He's got super soldiers, mass mutate. Could stop somebody's turn. Automated maintenance. That'll fix ruined cities. I don't know how big an advantage that really is. Right now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Grab myself some pods to make myself a better fighter. Do I want to do something with that with my infantry? I think I've got some weapons in here, correct? I do, and it's not a bad weapon. I think I'm going to send my stack of infantry 1, 2, 3 here and grab another pod. That weakens my defensive strength, but I think I can defend that pod pretty easily. Of course, Scav is probably going to go attack my territory now. But he doesn't have any troops with him. Now, does he have a home? His home's over here, which, no, it's not. He's not purple. His home is wrecked. He has no troops anywhere. He's got some infantry up here. Yeah, I'm fine. And we'll do that. On to number 2, which is Onco. Onco's all suited up with equipment. Is he ready to try to grab a second city? Well, he could conceivably attack Blip there. There's got to be a pile of blue things somewhere. There is. There's a whole pile, but he can't pick any of them up. So do I want to go for an attack, or do I want to grab more resources? I don't have a lot of resources. There's a fair amount of defense there. Let's go here. And we'll fly these back to my home. These 1, 2, shit. These are my super tanks. I don't know how they got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. I may have moved them from here illegally. I can't remember. Let's eat these little candies. And now I sent them into the city on the attack, and then they swept through. Yeah, I need to get my defenses back to my city. I'm probably going to lose it this turn, but let's turn that. And now that gets us to 3, which is Elvin. Elvin has fast tanks, sleight of hand, he can exchange hands, negate a special power, eat pods. Well, Elvin's pretty tooled up right now, and it looks like my men in black over there are probably within range. My home city doesn't seem terribly threatened. Anko didn't go to it. He went to pick, well, he's already wrecked it, right? Yeah, he's already hit me, so he's probably not going to hit me again, unless I'm close to winning. So let's see if I can get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll fly our planes in there. And that looks like all I have. Some people held on to cards. In order to... I lost my hover tank somewhere. In order to, like, maybe match up for reinforcements. This guy, for example, had some, but had one that... let's turn him. He had Gamma Jet reinforcements. Now, the problem with the Gamma Jet reinforcements is you could get 2 of them. There's probably another one over here. Nope. So he would have only been getting 1 for 1, which isn't a great deal. Alright, we go over to Scav. Scav would like to kill something, but Scav has almost no ability right now. He's lost. He's down kind of low in pods. Doesn't feel like it can handle the white city. Maybe Elvin would let him join in on the fight. It seems more valuable to join in on a fight towards winning the game than anything else that I can think of here. Although I have to rebuild my city at some point, so I want to hold on to that pod so that I can do so. And maybe that's a more valuable thing, but I don't think I have. I have another running broad jump. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not quite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And no, I'm not going to be able to jump through there. So I'll just join in that fight. That puts me to 5, which is the Gammaraud. Do I want to pick up another little piece of purple crap? I don't know. seems pretty pointless. I'm not getting anywhere towards victory if I do that. I don't feel terribly tooled up though, in terms of I only have one weapon available. No one knows what it is. Oh no, I have two. Do I have a good one? Not really. I got some better stuff back here, but no capability of really using it. It's kind of painful to just leave this behind. Oh, I have humans. But humans don't walk across this shit. Now I could teleport them home next turn. Let's leave my humans back here. Send my jets home temporarily. They may go back. What do I want to do? Do I have a running jump? I don't. So I don't even really have a way of getting home. I'm just gonna pick this up instead. And is there something I want to strike? Something that scares me. I'm going late enough in the turn. Only player 6, Blip, who is kind of far away, and he can't teleport into my city. He can only teleport to his home. I can get there. I'm just thinking I could launch an attack on this city without a Bioborg and see if they let me in, and if they don't, I could defend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what else? 1, 2, 3. Everything can get there except for my tanks, maybe. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, my tanks are going to stay at home. But I'll send this infantry in too. And see if they'll let me into that fight too. That puts it over to Blip. Gate crashers. Lost patrol. I'm not the one being attacked here. And Gamma Jets, I can't play them except at that second phase. There's a blue city that it's defended, but I could get some of my troops over there. What the hell? 1, 2, 3. And let's see what I can get in there. I can get my planes in there. Everything I got here could have gotten there. So we're going to throw everything in here. Got to be careful that I'm not carrying troops accidentally with my Bioborg. Shit, sorry about that. This camera's much harder to hold than my old one was. 1, 2, 3. The infantry can get there. The tanks can get there. Let's send it all in. And that'll put us one away from victory, which of course makes us dangerous, but we'll see what that works out as. Now, after we do that, we're at rebuild and refit. Is anybody at home? I can't tell. I wish the bases matched the colors of the cards of the factions. I could paint those, and that would make it easier. Because as it is, I can't tell which Borg is whose. And that's kind of an annoying factor. But I don't think anybody's at their home right now, which means we'll be going to the combat phase. And I need a rest before I do that. Okay, I guess it's combat time, and we've got Gammarauders up here facing a bunch of infantry. Now, it doesn't terribly help him to attack them, but they're weak. And it's kind of a, well, might as well. Not sure quite what he's doing there. But okay. they are going to bid their little thing. Let me see what his weapon is, whether he's got a hell of a weapon on him. He's going to count on being able to outroll him here. So they're going to burn their pod. That gives them 2 dice, him 1. He reveals his weapon, which is this ultrachronic blaster. Oh, he was there to pick up more pods. I'm not quite sure why the infantry didn't move on. But they didn't. And since they stuck there, let's hit them. So it's +6 versus 2 dice, essentially. So that's going to be a 10 to 11. He lost the battle. He loses his weapon. And hey, I can pick that up. I'm good with my hand now. And that's not good for Kizaru, and I also get a chance to steal one of his cards. I don't know if I've been doing this every battle. I get a mass mutate. I think I may play that. Oh, it's a play immediately. Shit. I can never see these because it's in the same font as everything else, and I just don't bother. I look at this. Oh well. Well, since he revealed that and does want to play it, he and everyone else gets a chance to mutate at this point. I'll go through everybody, figure out what weapons they want where. Well, now everybody's weapons are face down, even if they didn't change anything, because nobody really knows what they have. And let's take a look at player 2. Anko. Anko is over there, and he's blue. He has no attacks that he's making. He's not going to attack Blip. He's going to let Blip attack him. Puts us on 3, which will be Elvin. Elvin's over here. And let's see who we've got considering an attack here. He's got Scav with him, who would like to join in. And a bunch of white troops, which are Hogues. Well, I think they can all agree we'd like to get a kill here. We'll let Hogue and Du Bois make that attack. And I'm gonna select my weapons across the board. Now first we look at pods. Nobody wants to expend any pods. So let's see. I might not want to hit with my biggest weapon. So he's gonna choose that water cannon. Well, Scav. Certainly not going to use a 1-use. He also is not going to use his biggest weapon. And what about Kizaru here? He has no pods. I got to be careful. Somebody pointed out I tend to not to point the camera low enough, and yeah, I know that's a factor. I got no cards I want to play. He doesn't get a card. I'm just looking to see if anybody's got a bonus that they want to play here. Alvin doesn't have anything with him. He could blow away some pods, but he doesn't want to. And I didn't check Scav, I don't think, for any cards that might help him. Yeah, there I did it again. I'm so afraid of showing stuff I shouldn't. All right, well, let's count the totals then. Oh, we forgot to... Kizaru's got to throw a weapon. Well, he doesn't have to, but he wants to. So he's putting this out. Now, we have a water cannon and an exospatial aura. And this is gas emissions. Nothing prevents those. The heavier weapons are the ones that get prevented. So in terms of actual weapon strength, we are at +2 for the attacker. When I count in the 3, the 5, that's 8. Okay, +2 for the attacker. There's 10 strength points in the fortress, so that puts it down to -8. But -4. -3, -2, -1. We're at +4. And it's again 2 dice for the fortress to 1. 10 to 6 means 4 hits on the fortress. He'll take out the hover tanks. This fortress is destroyed. He gives a victory marker to each of the 3. Yeah, I know, that looks silly, but that's what we got to do here. And who else is there? Scav with no troops. Okay. And now, who was the main attacker here? Damned if I know. It must be Elvin, because he doesn't have a card. So he's allowed to steal a card. Now, this is going to be destroyed, and it's going to go over to Scav. But first, we have to see who gets what card, because everybody gets a card. Who's red? No, white. And then Scav gets both of these cards. And poor Kizaru has been pretty much wiped out in terms of anything. All he has going for him is these pods. He may be turning in a card next turn to get more cards and stuff. He's got some troops still, but that's it. Oh, we gotta rubbleize that city. And I gotta look through everybody's hands, see if they discard anything. I threw out a couple of cards. He's so good at pulling stuff. Elvin's going to throw the Slugnoid Raid at Hogue. Gets rid of a D6 pods. Hogue's going to lose 4 pods. I don't think he has any on the board. So that is his whole pile. And that kind of hurt him. Now we go to the next place. And that takes us to player 4. Scav has already attacked. His greenies, do they want to hit Kizaru? Probably not. Kizaru has no cards left. All I'd be doing is maybe forcing him to play some to burn some pods. I see no real value to that. I cannot kill these Borgs. So we'll go to Hogue. Hogue is white. Most of his troops are here. He's still hopping around here, and all that work he did to get all those pods just got burned away. Sucks to be him. And our teleport turtle, who's yellow. Well, it looks like he's stomping on a blue base. Now, he's got no pods. Turtle's got no pods. Great. See if he's got a weapon here. I'm sure he does, because we just did that mutate, which would allow me to set up. I got super jets. I'm going to play that as well. Who's this hitting me? This is Blip, who has a lot of weapons. I got no idea what they are. I'm gonna randomly pick my weapon that he's gonna play. We have the tanks, but they're not gonna help. But the super jets will help as well. Okay. So his weapon is going to be chosen by me at random. Does he have anything? This can only be played on attack. So let's randomly pick a weapon. And I end up picking, wow, the transcosmic missile. Well, that's a hell of a weapon to use here. Let's see what we end up with. He's got it's a missile. This doesn't negate missiles. So he's got a strength of 10. That's a one shot. It's going to go away. So the attacker's at +5 right now. The attacker's at +5. He's got no troops with him, does he? No, he's got a ton of troops with him. +5. Did he have any cards that'll help him? No. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's a lot. 22, 21, 20, 19. 17, 15, 13, 11, 9, 7. Sounds like it's +7. That's going to guarantee a victory for Blip. No, it's not. It's 12 to 6. He's going to do 6 hit points of damage. I don't really want to lose all my infantry, but 1, 2, 3, 4, we will. And a couple of planes. 5, 6. I'm rubbleized again. It's painful. The missile's discarded, which means Scav gets it. I get to steal a card. This weapon's destroyed. Scav gets it. So after shuffling the cards, I'm going to get these super hover tanks. And now I've got to decide who has what. And that, other than that, that's the end of the turn. Right now what we've got is Blip should have 2 victory points. One more and he wins. Whoop. People might want to destroy his fortress in order to prevent him from being able to win, because he's getting, he's awfully close right now. And obviously, if anything, he's been strengthened. His hover tanks have been doubled now. So we roll into a new turn. Kizaru is in really bad shape. However, he has some pods, which means he can burn 1 and get units and cards from the deck. Now the units, I allowed this guy, Anko, whatever, built some extra infantry using a card. I'm allowing him to build it in a rubbled fortress. Again, I'm not sure if that was intended. The rules don't even say where the reinforcements go. Now I can assume they go to the fortress, but whether or not they can go to a rubbled one is a good question. But I decided to allow it. But as to Kizaru, his fortress is also a pile of rubble. He's got a bunch of troops there too. So he may want to build more troops. The main thing he wants is more cards though. So he's only got 1 card to begin with. I'm gonna burn this, grab himself 4 more cards. That'll give me 1 unit. And I guess I can peek at the cards to see if I have anything that's bonus. These can be used, I believe, as wild cards in conjunction. So I'm going to be taking myself 5 tanks, assuming I have that. By playing these. And now that I can't play these before I draw, but I can see that I have these, and I can decide to draw a 5th card. And then I'll continue with what I'm doing. This guy's got to discard a card because his hand is always growing too big. I don't really like his power that much. It's kind of neat, you know, when good weapons and stuff fall. But what I don't like about it is, in general, you'll have enough cards. At least I've had enough cards. There, folk Hoeg here. No, he's got a good hand. Yeah, you only really get hosed in hand when you get defeated by an alliance, like over here, which can really trash you. That draw of cards, I noticed, and I'm lucky I did, because this isn't going to always happen. Another play immediately. This is going to generate a whole bunch of pods everywhere. Just an extra set of pods for the turn. Okay, there are a lot of pods all over the place. Somebody even discarded the card that generated one over here. But just riches of them. The problem is we're almost at the end of the game here. Blip on turn 2 is he only has to hit one more fortress, this one. Now, people can hit his fortress and prevent him from winning. But of course, most of the players, everyone except this guy, already has one fortress. If they hit blips, then they each have 2, and it becomes this kind of, you know, standoff where everyone's got a shot at kind of winning the game at that point. There's got to be a tiebreaker here, because it seems too likely that everyone should hit victory, or a lot of people would hit victory at the same time. Whoever has the lower turn order card for the turn, which means usually players spend the first part gathering pods. Yeah, okay. I don't know that how really helps. The guy who seems to be in the lead is the guy who didn't really gather pods. He just had a decent hand of weapons and started trashing stuff right away, because nobody else has any pods either at that point. He's weaker now in terms of pods, but maybe not that much weaker. Hug lost all his, and he spent the whole game hunting pods, right? Okay. So the tiebreaker is the turn order card, which kind of makes sense, because the guy who has to go first, if he just crushed a fortress, his own fortress might be left open. But if he's already got 3 crushed fortresses, all he has to do is rebuild his fortress and defend it. It just becomes kind of a situation where I think whoever gets that card wins the game, which seems a little cheesy to me. Maybe there's some way of kind of saving this game, but it probably isn't worth it. It's still fun in its silliness. Alright, let's take a look at Elvin here. Elvin? Well, as the first player, he is really worried about yellow. So that is going to be his main goal. He can't probably get back. What is he good at? He's got the ranged weapon. And all kind of cool stuff here. He probably can't defend his own base. And may not be that interested in it. 1, 2. Yeah, this water is going to cut him, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I could get as far as that, but that's not going to help. So I'm going to want to try to crash into here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. do I have a good weapon on my base? I mean, I'd rather not have my base destroyed. And I think other people are going to be helping me. So I'm going to fly my planes back to my base. And I guess that's all I can do. That puts it to our teleport turtle, who could try to defend his base. Got a pretty good card. I would have only gotten one jet still. I haven't lost any more units. That's kind of the problem there. Huh. I think I want to defend my base because I might be able to get a victory by crushing this and defending. We'll see. And in order to defend, I'm going to fly these back. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to fly these back. My humans could get there too, but they can also get here, so I'm going to take them with me to attack there. Why don't I send a couple back? Okay, number 3 is Anko. Now, Anko's already killed the red base. He doesn't have a whole lot in terms of cards. If he could get to the blue base, or the yellow base, it would be worth it to get in a crush. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, he's not going to be able to get there. He may want to throw himself in at the red base and help defend it. What does he have in terms of stuff with him? He has nothing. Alternatively, he may want to power up and grab these. And just say, screw that, man. You know, I want to be more potent next turn. Let's make a die roll. And he is indeed saying, screw that. What can he do from it? Oh, he needs to repair the blue base. That's the problem. He needs to get home to do that. I got a bunch of hover tanks. I'll throw them in. That'll help defend red's base. I got these planes. I can throw them in. Because my own base doesn't even help me. And I think I want to pick up those pods. I think I want to be stronger in the long run with 2 pods just showing up on me. I could make it back to my base, but I don't really think there's much. Hey, I can throw the infantry in too. 1, 2, 3. That'll help prolong the game. And that immediately makes an attack on the yellow base seem less vital to everyone else. Of course, everybody else still wants 2 bases to crush, and they're pretty happy to see blue willing to go in and defend the victory base. What about our Gammaraud? Oh shit, this should have happened at the beginning of the turn. Well, whenever I notice these, I seem to be playing them, so everybody has to discard and draw 5 new cards. I'll be back. I don't believe it's the intention of that card, but Scav's power says he gets to pick up all the discarded weapons out of that pile. So, well, except whatever he had in his hand. I don't remember which ones he had. I'm going to say he gets to pick up these 2. And we may have the requirement for a reshuffle because the deck's getting a little low there. And we got this heat wave which theoretically would have destroyed all these blue units, no matter kind of where they were. Wouldn't have done the moves I did if the cards were played in the right order. And the way it's kind of worded is at the end of their move they're destroyed. Well, the end of that unit's move has already happened. So I'm going to just say, well, chalk it up to more difficulty with reading these play immediately cards. I really wish that they were more clearly distinguishable, like with a band across them or something. It's really hard to notice that you've got to play that immediately. Until that, so what I end up doing is now, instead of reading my cards and trying to figure out what to do with them, all my attention when I draw new cards is just to, is there a play immediately? So I can no longer strategize. It's just a bad design decision. There should be something that just catches your attention really clearly, that jumps out. Obviously, another color. These are already in both black and blue. Another color printing would cost more. So, you know, a black or a white band or something across it would do a perfectly good job, though. TSR was never good at graphic design, though. You can see that if you ever look at some of the games that they put out when they took over SPI. Just the drop in quality. They had no idea what they were doing. A functioning fortress, and again, this isn't absolutely clear. Maybe there's something in the card compendium, but the heat wave here, I think, destroyed all of Kizaru's troops. So he was able to fly his planes into place, but everything else wasn't able to get to the Bioborg, and he doesn't have a working fortress. Let's see if there are any rules for this, but I know some of the factoids have specifics. No specifics here. And that's at the end of step 4. Not at the player turn. Son of a bitch. Step 4 is everybody's move. So those blue ones are going to be gone too, because they don't have a fortress they could be in. So we're going to try to get what we can up to Anko instead, just to be reasonably fair. These guys, 1, 2, 3, couldn't make it. They're going to be dead. The air units can be with him. And the infantry, I don't know where they were. I assume here they're going to be dead. So now, Blip is almost certain to win this battle, which nobody was counting on. But more devastating is that if Blip has a rebuild fortress card in his hand, even if they destroy this, he'll still win, right? Oh well. I'd be glad to be done with this. It's got so many little flaws. You know, there's a guy who did a really good introduction, much better than mine, to the rules. And he seems to love the game. I think it's got too many flaws to really love. I guess you could house rule and figure out all of those and come up with a new set of rules that works better than what was come up for it. But it does nothing about the game really shines all that much, except for one thing. Unlike a lot of games of this time, it has a set of victory conditions that are both fairly easy to meet and, most importantly, don't really get locked into a balance of power problem that a lot of the kind of fantasy SF non-historical type stuff tended to just degenerate into, well, I can attack you and take some of your stuff, but then you can attack me and take some of mine, and, you know, 2 or 3 players can prevent another player from winning at almost any time. That goes all the way back to diplomacy, really. So, like Risk, this actually has a tendency to finish. We end the battle, or the turn, with this triad destroying Blip's fortress without much trouble, and they got a lot of cards off that. And then Blip himself getting beat up here by the red troops. So now we've got 3 people sitting on 2 colors. Blip, who's in pretty bad shape now, he's been wiped out by his attacks. He still has troops. And what this Elven here has 2, and his fortress is still holding. And Scav has 2, and the green fortress is destroyed right now. I don't think there are any fortresses that can be rebuilt. Just making sure I didn't screw up there during my turn. So, Elven is the biggest threat at this point towards actually getting a victory in the next turn. Yeah, this turn started off in a right random fashion. A couple of play immediatelys came up. Unfortunately, people played their cards. You know, my way of handling that is to have people look at their cards that they're going to discard. Well, when there's multiple play immediatelys, or even just one and it comes late in the turn, people ended up playing to build reinforcements, etc. I may have ended up with too many reinforcements on the board. You know, I don't really give a shit. This game is very painful to play solo simply because of the hands and those stupid play immediately cards. Anyway, some people mutated. It would have been hard to tell which play immediately happened first. I guess you follow the turn order. I hadn't dealt those out in time. Anyway, what we've got is a lot of troops sitting out on the board, a lot of pods sitting out on the board, but the actual Borgs, a lot of them are kind of weak. I think only Elven has a real chance of winning this turn, because I don't, like, Scav has 2 things, but he'd have to take his Borg back here in order to rebuild his fortress, unless he has a card to rebuild the fortress, which of course, you know, that's the auto win card basically. There's a couple of them in the deck. Hey, bonus. I'm somewhat disgusted by the amount of luck in this game. Yes, I've screwed some things up, but part of the reason I'm not too worried about that is I think the whole thing comes down to who ends up getting away with the win because they have that auto win card in their hand. Side of the table went first. Kisru and Blip both busied themselves picking up some of those pods. What they're looking at in both their cases is their fortresses are trashed. Blip was in no real condition to win a battle here. He's got a lot of forces on his side, but he didn't have any way of repairing the fortress. So he's kind of looking at, well, okay, I'll take this as a rebuilding turn. His was particularly hard because he had nowhere he could go that was guaranteed to be a good spot. He could have rolled to randomly end up somewhere, but that doesn't work terribly well for him in terms of being near a fortress that he could destroy. He can always get home, unless he got a 9 or an 11 or a 2. He's not going to get a result that got him more pods. So, you know, he might end up somewhere stupid like over here, where he's really kind of out of the way of everybody. So, he held off, but Elven is marching off for the win. Now, there's 3 players who can try to stop him from that victory by various means, including destroying his fortress. And Elven's got one of those, I win even if I lost, therefore I win cards that reverses the value of it. very much like Cosmic Encounter, but this game doesn't have the richness of a full game of CE. So it just ends up feeling like, you've got this simple situation on the board, and then you've got oh no, I won card. And then it just disturbs me. There's different kinds of I won cards. The Rebuild the Fortress could be one. This I win the battle and you don't could be another. Now, he may not win the battle, but he's got a lot of pods he can throw in to trying to win the real battle. On top of that, let me move some of his stuff, because he doesn't have to worry about this battle at all. So if he throws all of his popcorn planes out there, I think he's got a pretty good chance. And at this point, several people are probably going to try to defeat him somewhere. And the more desirable place to defeat him is here. If they could block him here, that would be great too. But it would be good to get a little red marker if that's what you want to go for. And that's probably, Anko doesn't care about that, but Anko can't get up there to help. And therefore, he has to think, because Scav can probably get here. I'm not sure. Maybe not. All the cities became non-rubble through one of those automatics, and now there's a lot more difficulty getting places. So I think Anko's going to have to actually hit this. Elvin froze Scav for the final move. Not sure if that was really necessary. Hogue didn't have any ability to get out of here, particularly he can move one space. He'd rather pick up a pod. We got two battles. Elvin's goes first, and he's attacking this. Now what he doesn't know is that Anko has a Reversal of Fortune card too, so he can't possibly win this battle. Look at the battle. He's throwing 3 chips in. He's got a Strength 8 laser. He's facing this plasma projector, which doesn't help. Strength 6. So he's up 2 from that. Make it 3, 4, 5, 6. With all those chips in, he's getting 4 dice to roll. So he's up 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He's down 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's down 12. And you can only use the reverse on defense, so at least one of them. I said he was down 10 or 12. I don't know which. I don't really care. Make it 9. He's down like 4. That's enough to kill off his popcorn. And he's taking a loss in this area, which means he's going to lose his weapon and another card to the white player. And now Anko doesn't actually have to make this attack, but he might. It looks like he's got a pretty good chance of trashing it. He trashes it. Nobody else can score that city while it's broken. Anko decided not to put any pods into the fight. He doesn't think he's going to win this fight, but he tries anyway. He throws this plasma projector, which is good against sluggers. And it just so happens that the defense is a slugger. Well, with value, though, it's at 10. Or I'm sorry, it's at 5 here versus 9. Anko's only at +4, and it's 1 die against 2. Ends up a tie. I don't know what happens in a tie. Hopefully nothing, because Anko will take that. He didn't have a very good result there, but I suspect it's not the case. The outcome. Yeah, the defender's going to win. That means I lose a crappy card and a card from my hand. Not much I can do about it, so that'll happen. That was kind of a revolting situation. ended up losing my reverse combat, which means both of them are in Elvin's hands, which is pretty powerful. However, Elvin lost his popcorn in his attack, and he can certainly defend this guaranteed, and he kind of knows no one can stop him from destroying a city except by pure strength. So I don't know. He's having a hard time finding one he can crush. Maybe he'll get a card that lets him rebuild a fortress, so he can slip into somebody's fortress, rebuild it just before he attacks, and score himself a victory that way. I don't know.